I think one of the biggest narratives in 2025's bull run is most definitely going to be AI. We've seen the potential and how explosive it has been, how much it's changed the world over the last 8 to 10 months. I think you guys are going to be absolutely mind blown when we come into a bull market situation and we mix AI with blockchain technology. I think it's a recipe for success, especially because of one particular thing I always talk about on the channel, which I'll mention briefly soon. And so guys, today, of course, we're doing a deeper dive on the project called OnChain AI. As you can imagine, mixing blockchain with AI technology in a very synergistic manner. Now, as I mentioned just a moment ago, this is something I talk about all the time, right? We see other large cryptocurrency projects outsourcing this sort of thing where they outsource their AI technology or essentially find a way to integrate it within the network itself. And of course, they do it through third parties. Well, OnChain AI is a brand new layer 1 network with this already pre-built into it. Okay, so what it's going to ultimately do, I'm going to show you in a second, is allow users and developers to leverage AI technology to do whatever their hearts desire. So if I take you over here now, so obviously the first thing that I kind of pick up on when I look at any new website is, what's going on with it. And obviously right here, there's not much happening. It's a very simplistic design. However, I must say simple wins. And the fact that OnChain AI is, as I mentioned moments ago, a brand new project that actually has just been released in this very, very early stage. I mean, this isn't too bad at all. We check other projects and cryptocurrencies, like larger ones right now, and they all started off like this. But what I wanted to take your attention to was this first about page here, which is going to summarize everything I just said and more. Okay, so OnChain AI is a high-performance layer 1 network with an integrated AI chatbot module that will facilitate the development of all kinds of Web3 dApps from conception to deployment. So what they mentioned down here is every builder and entrepreneur with its integrated AI module enables everyone to build and deploy smart contracts on OnChain AI, even without IT knowledge. And this is what I've been saying to people for a very long time, right? This is the future of blockchain technology, right? Part of the world when we're moving forward here, and it's mentioned in multiple books now. One of the ones I read more recently was The Sovereign Individual, which is a great read, by the way. He mentions in that book, the author, that the way the world is moving, of course, people that are going to survive, the people that are going to thrive are the ones that have the creativity mindset, okay? That are able to be thinkers. That's it. Because everything else is going to be automated. Everything else is going to be leveraged either with cheap, VAs, virtual assistants, or AI technology. And in this case, obviously, this is why we're finding networks like OnChain AI spawning, because they can see it coming right now. They know this is imminent, and they understand that, of course, for a creator, for someone like myself, for example, or for a developer that's in traditional Web 2 senses, for them to come on here and, leverage blockchain, that might be games, for example, because they can still build the games themselves, but they might want to leverage a gameplay loop that requires a smart contract. They can do so with this module, for example, so no code is required. It's just simple English. You're integrating or at least communicating with an AI, okay? They can build it for you. Very, very powerful. And as I mentioned, this is why we have larger projects trying to outsource this through third-party companies to sort of integrate it within the network itself. Again, it is built into the code here with OnChain AI. As they mentioned here, they are a layer 1 network, guys. So they're a brand new network. Currently, they do have a smart contract on Ethereum. Of course, most projects start off like this, then they migrate to their own network. When the time does come, they're going to launch as a DPoS, or delegated proof of stake based consensus mechanism, which means most standardly, they're going to have a very few amount of nodes to begin with. It can become a quite decentralized network, but that ultimately means you delegate your tokens to a specific node through delegation processes, and then you can earn staking rewards that way, okay? So that is a very, very typical way most cryptocurrencies, most proof-of-stake cryptocurrencies tend to build their architecture. And over here, as we can see, high performance and low fees, of course, with this setup, yes, they can be very fast. And as I mentioned over here, 120,000 KTPS with an average block time of 3 seconds and fees below 1 cent. So immediately I'm reading this sort of stuff and I'm going tick, 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 okay? As I mentioned, it's a very, very new network. We're kind of in the very early stages. Matter of fact, if I take you guys over to the roadmap here for a second, we're in like the first part of their roadmap, the launch of their token on Uniswap. You'll see here in a second, it's the public sale. And I'm going to show you guys the green candles the charts have been producing recently and what's to come next this year. They're doing things like Mainnet is launching, Explorer and staking will obviously ensue. Strategic partnerships, massive, because this is going to get the name out, of course. Bridge protocols and integration, and of course, massive, massive upgrade here for especially all you guys who are like me, buying in the project nice and early on, at least right now, is that when they have their centralized exchange listing, it'll open up, it'll unlock more liquidity, more demand, more volume, which will allow us to ideally, obviously sell at a higher profit. Obviously, none of that is financial advice. Doesn't always work out that way. And as I mentioned over here, in pretty much sometime in 2024, they plan on getting more centralized exchange listings. Now, I was reached out to personally by the OnChain AI team to make this video. So yes, it is a sponsored review. However, I must say, upon doing my research, these are one of the projects, or this is a project that you can kind of speculate on, right? If you're someone who likes your micro caps, or you like your not even micro caps, like mini micro caps, new projects that are going to have a lot of potential, possibly, that have some really good fundamentals already. These are the type of projects you got to look at, because it's in a very powerful narrative, which is what we obviously want to look at moving forward. Of course, full discretion is advised. It is a very small project. Now, I must say the tokenomics are also quite good. Okay, so the dispersion of the initial tokens. So initial DEX offering is 30 million tokens, which is fine. That's the IDO tokens. Liquidity, 30 million. Those 30 million tokens will be used, of course, for liquidity on exchanges and things. That, of course, is perfectly fine. And that is about 30% as well. And over here for the treasury, 40 million. So 40% of the total tokens is going to go in 3 different ways. First of all, for staking, which is 15 million. Regular staking was 5 million. Not too sure what that exactly means. Obviously, that's got something to do with possibly having a booster here for the validators themselves. And then regular staking is a bit different. And then marketing, ecosystem, and team expenses, 20 million tokens themselves. So essentially, as an investor, we're looking for things like, how much do third parties hold? Is there any whales and things like that, what I call third-party investors? And what this is telling me right here is the team is a portion of 20%. So the team might, for example, have, let's just say 10% of the tokens, which actually is quite good. The rest is going for liquidity reasons, okay? So if you're someone who's concerned about being dumped on, again, wait for that vesting schedule to come out to confirm that, but that actually isn't quite a lot of tokens at all, which is very good to see. Now, if we move on here, one other thing I wanted to point out on the roadmap is they do plan to have their token audit very, very soon, okay? This is going to bring more confidence, I believe, with the majority of investors. So if you are someone that's wanting to possibly hold off right now, that doesn't want to take advantage of possibly sharp price increases, then of course, when the audit comes out, that should hopefully bring you a little bit of mental clarity, or at least, confidence in the project itself. Also, I do want to mention over here, when we're looking at the social metrics, and a lot of people like to look at this sort of thing, and I definitely do as well, we can see over here in the last 30 days, the project has grown 800 followers on Twitter, and Telegram as well. It's about 660. So again, guys, we are literally brand spanking new in this project. It is a very, very new cryptocurrency. So this sort of growth, starting from like nothing to where it is right here, actually is pretty good, right? But it's a very, very small project. And if I come over here to show you OnChain AI, look at this, 1,100 followers. I mean, that is pretty good for a project this size, I must say. And again, there is increased risk when we're this early, but there is also high upside. So especially for you degens out there, this would be something that you literally want to soak up. Again, high quality narrative. And if you come over look over here on Etherscan, 687 followers to my left over here. And if we have a look at the charts thus far, you can see pair was only created 11 days ago. 11 days ago, the start of August. And right now, if we actually zoom out in the last 1 month, the chart is quite up right now. Okay, so as you can see, it definitely has gone up. So for all those people that kind of bought in super low, of course, you have the increased benefit. But guys, there's 100 million tokens, of course, okay, and they're all not released right now. So the price right now, it's trading extremely cheap. As you can see, it is currently under 1 cent because it is so tiny. Okay, we're talking about mini micro cap here, if that's even a thing. So I want to say for the record, this obviously isn't for everyone watching this video, but this is actually a hedge into, again, a very powerful narrative moving into 2025, and of course into a brand new project looking to integrate AI within the layer 1 itself. As I said, a lot has to progress, and of course one of these such things is the growth of the AI blockchain altogether, the whole space, the whole narrative, if you will, okay? And as we can see here, this was a report actually published in 2021, at least in January 2021, and actually was conducted pretty much back in 2019, okay? And it projected that in 2020, the growth, or at least the size of the blockchain AI market, was going to be about $220 million. And it was going to, sort of swell to about $736 million in 2027. Now, if we bring that back up on the maths on this, it's about $660 million, all up in 2025. But I must say, again, one key thing you have to remember here, guys, and this is keeping it real, is that this was published pretty much back in January 2021. I know that OpenAI's ChatGPT which pretty much took the world by storm and started all this AI narrative, didn't launch until November 2022. So basically like 10 months ago, okay? So you have to remember, this is outdated. In my opinion, this market is so much bigger than this report leads it to be. And of course, we have an interesting project in front of our eyes. Again, full discretion, this video is sponsored. Do what you want to do with this information. I'm telling you right now, it's a very powerful narrative. And of course, I really do appreciate OnChain AI for sponsoring the channel, allowing me to continue making these videos and bringing themselves to my attention. All right, guys, take good care of yourselves. Appreciate you all. Talk to you soon. Bye.